night off. I mean, it was a mad one. This is
you
when
have?
James scored 2.
Oh, yeah.
when
Well,
we won
probably
that
the only
game.
time we probably won there.
Oh, mate, it was unbelievable. Anyway, everyone was like, come to this Lebanese restaurant. It's popping off. There's going to be girls. There's going to be everything. We went there. We were the only people there. And they were like, oh, do you want to get a shisha? And
So
we
you
were
got
like,
sold a dream.
We got sold the dream, mate. But we went back after the game this time. Didn't obviously go upstairs for the shisha bar. Just had a nice Lebanese meal. It was great.
What did you eat?
Chicken shawarma.
Good, that, yeah.
Very nice,
Very
mate.
nice.
Very
yeah.
nice. And it was really affordable. For 3 people, we all had starters,
Who
mains.
was the third person?
Rachel and then Stevie Proper-Chels.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we went out and 63 quid was the final total,
For 3
which is
people.
pretty good.
It's like 20 quid each, basically.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant value for money. So shout out to the Lebanese restaurant in Newcastle. Can't remember the name though.
Must have been really
Not
good,
really
mate.
good shout
yeah.
out then, is it? Shout out to that.
It just says Lebanese restaurant in Newcastle. Yeah. It's one of them somewhere. Don't know what it's called.
If you know, you know. It's one of them, isn't it?
Is it? Oh, I don't know.
We'll have
How
to
was
wait.
the game? Did you enjoy it?
It was mixed. The weather was nice.
Weather was nice.
Mate, I didn't ever think that I'd be wearing just a t-shirt in Newcastle, but it happened.
It did happen.
It did happen, yeah.
Did you go to the Carabao?
Yeah,
Oh, God.
unfortunately.
That was...
Mate, my St James's
It was
Park,
better than that.
It was better. Oh yeah, my St James's Park record is 4 visits, 4 L's, and 1 goal scored.
You should start doing watch-alongs.
No, I'll just keep going until we win there. Mate, you've only seen us win once, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's,
That
it's
was
not
when
much
James
better.
scored
It's not
too,
much
isn't it?
better, is it? Yeah.
No, it's not great, is it? But anyway, yeah, so we're still in the fight for top 5.
It's in our hands, mate. Nothing's changed, really. We need to win. I said this to you yesterday. We need to win 2 out of the last 3. We still need 2 wins. So in that sense, nothing's changed. It's still in our hands. And if we can't beat the worst Man United team of all time, and if we can't beat a stuttering Forest side, then we don't deserve Champions League. It was very simple.
Yeah, but it was also a struggling Manchester United side when we went there at Old Trafford, and it was also
Yeah, but
a
they're
struggling
miles worse
Manchester
now.
United side when they came to Stamford Bridge last year, and we had to fight our way
We still
to the
beat them,
end.
though.
Yeah, but it was again difficult.
If we don't beat Man United, we don't deserve to be in the Champions League. Simple as that.
No, I agree with that. I just think, it's not as straightforward as, it's a winnable game on paper, because Man United always make it difficult for us. Like, we were 2-0 up at home last year, and we still managed to leave it till Cole Palmer at the death. So, yeah, it's absolutely in our hands, but that's what annoys me the most, that it's been in our hands pretty much since December when we didn't grind out those results that we needed to. Like, we could have put ourselves in a much better position, and I know we're all angry that Jackson got sent off, and he's ruined our season, and he's cost us Champions League football, but that's not the truth, is it?
No, it's not,
We dropped too many points until this point to leave it this late, and we're so lucky we're playing Nottingham Forest, by the way, because that game could have been any other team at the end, and it's not as straightforward as it's in our hands, because we're literally playing the team that we're up against.
But it is
the
in our
Champions
hands.
League. Yeah, but I'm saying that we're lucky that we're still at a point where 2 games away and it's in our hands with the amount of points that we've dropped.
It just goes to show how poor all those sides that are going for the top 5 have been. The complete lack of consistency from Newcastle, City, Villa, us, Forest.
But that doesn't matter, because we came into the season as the team that should have prepared for this the most, having spent the money we did. Yeah, of course, we were still underwhelmed with the transfer windows because we wanted to spend money in positions that needed strengthening and were again neglected. But again, out of the teams that we're in it against, yeah, Aston Villa strengthened mid-season. That's something that they did that we didn't. But again, we came into the season should have done more to put ourselves in a better position to achieve Champions League football.
But we're still on course to achieve Champions League football.
I understand that, Charlie, but it's come again to the last 2 games.
Yeah, but does it matter if we get? Does it really matter if we get
it will
Champions
matter
League?
when we miss out.
No, but if we
won't
get
it?
Champions League football, right, whether it's on the last game or whether it's we get it done with 5 games to go, it doesn't matter, does
Well,
it?
it does
I'm
matter.
saying
It does
matter.
It does matter in
It's
terms of
pressure.
confidence, in terms of how you
but-
deal.
Exactly.
If I said to you, right, start of the season, you want Champions League football, right? We all want a Champions League football. If we get it on the last day, do we really care? No.
Let me ask you this, Charlie. You're dating someone. Would you rather wait a year for them to say, yes, I'll be your girlfriend? Or would you rather, a couple of weeks, done?
Depends who they are.
It's true, isn't it?
It's on the
Do you know what I mean?
analogies,
Yeah, but that's
No,
not the best analogy, that.
It's all,
But
it's
I'm
all
saying
good,
is,
isn't it?
right,
I
of
mean, we
course-
want the job we want to do it,
Yeah, of
but
course we want to do it, but
we'd rather do it quicker.
sure, but at the end of the
convincing
day,
way.
you'd rather do it, wouldn't you?
But does it give you confidence?
What do you mean?
Like,
If
are
we
you
stumble
confident?
over the finish line,
I don't care if we
Does it
stumble.
give you
I don't care if we
confidence?
stumble over the finish line or we sprint through it, mate. We
But
need to be playing
the fact of
Champions
the
League
matter
football.
is, Charlie, it shouldn't be coming down to this. Come on, we were supposed to raise our standards this year a little bit at least.
Well, we've done better than last year.
Okay, but
that's not a good thing, mate.
it's
Mate. All you can do is make small progress.
Mate,
I
but
think
we've
this is just
improved. We've improved multiple aspects of this team.
What aspects of the team have improved?
But we had a lot more at our disposal. We've got more stability. We've got a team that have played together. A team that finished 6th compared to the season before finishing 12th. We had something to build off of. We had better goalkeeper at our disposal. We chose to keep Robert Sanchez and bring in Jorgensen and ship Petrovic off. We chose to ship Andre Santos off to Strasbourg when he could have been an effective player for us. We chose.
Hey.
How we doing, buddy?
There he is.
You okay, dude?
Hello.
Hello, mate.
You cannot tell me that we haven't had the tools to do better than last season.
We are doing better than last season.
And what? Am I supposed to be proud?
Well, I'm not telling you how you should feel, but at the
It
end of
sounds
the
like a direct contradiction.
Basically, Lewis, all we're saying is that me and Nia are saying we should have fucking wrapped this up already, Champions League. It
Like,
should
it
have been
shouldn't have
wrapped
been
up.
left this late.
all I'm
Yeah,
saying is
I
And
that-
he's saying that it doesn't matter what
doesn't-
happens. And we're saying, well, you're right, but also at the same time, does it give you confidence that we're going to be able to continuously achieve with this team if we're only stumbling across the finish line because you've got Forest drawing points against
No,
Leicester?
but we can all agree that we need upgrades anyway, whether we get top 5 or not.
No, agreed, absolutely. But me and Alex were just saying that, like, it never should have. Like, we're so lucky because we've been given like almost 10 lives
of
this
course.
whole time. Like, we're lucky we play Forest at the end. We're lucky that these 2 games are still in our hands to win. But that's the thing. Like, we came into the season wanting to raise the standards. Like, why has it come to this point again? Like, of course we're gonna rue those points dropped against Brentford and Ipswich. Like, this could have been so much easier way back. Now we're looking at those last 2 games as must wins, and let's be real, yeah, Manchester United are a dreadful side this season, but they were dreadful at Old Trafford, like I said when we went there. They were dreadful when they came to Stamford Bridge last year. It was always difficult. Forest, that game at their ground, literally season finale, that's going to be difficult as well. So that's what I'm saying, like, we never should have put ourselves in this position. And yes, of course, we're going to be angry that Jackson got sent off, like I said, but it just shouldn't have come to this. 2 games left. How inconsistent everyone else has been, yet here we are, inconsistent on our own as
And
well.
this is why we should have taken the windows seriously.
Yes.
I completely agree. How many of these games have come down to poor finishing or just Nicholas Jackson?
Yep.
But
Then yet again, this one has.
a lot of it's come down to lack of experience and a lack of and immaturity, and those are things that have been a problem for multiple seasons. But only point I was making is that as long as we get Champions League, I don't really care how we do it. That's all I'm saying.
No, I agree with you.
It's like with a trophy, right? Oh, like who cares how you win the trophy as long as you win it?
It's true,
It's just
mate.
we're
It's
taking
true.
the piss now.
But then it depends on the trophy. Winning the Champions League and stumbling across that is like, who gives a shit? But winning the Conference League like that actually doesn't give me a lot of confidence.
Yeah, but as long as you're winning trophies, it doesn't matter. That's my point. Like, I don't care how we
context
play
is
or what-
important as well.
Sure, but as long as we get Champions League football, we're not going to be sitting there at the end of the season saying, "Oh, I'm disappointed that we had to wait until the final game of the season to get Champions League football." It doesn't matter because at the start of the season, we all wanted Champions League football. Whether that was with 5 games remaining or we do it on the last day, it doesn't matter for me. But if it matters for you, that's fine. But for me, I don't care.
I think it's important. I think it is very important. I think you've got to look at these things with context. I always said as well, you know, and I said this yesterday, Lewis, you'll be happy to hear this. I don't think yesterday was on Maresca. I don't think it was his fault that we lost the game. I thought it was a lack of quality. I think Jackson let us down
Massively.
I can't believe how a team with 1 player less plays better without Jackson than when he was on the field. To me, that was baffling.
Confirms my belief that if we had 11v11, we leave with something.
Yes.
Because what happened in that game was we just got punched in the face real quick, and then we just shut ourselves. That whole first half was just us trying to get our composure back after the early goal. You've got St James's Park rocking, and obviously with the inexperience of our squad, I feel like that was just a setting that they kind of struggled with. But then they calmed down, they grew into the game in spite of being down to 10 men. And we actually had a good account of ourselves. It's just it meant nothing because we had a one-man disadvantage whenever we were trying to build up. And that still kept hurting us whenever we had the ball. But we still managed to minimise Newcastle. We still managed to build up well. We just made it harder for ourselves down to 10 men. If it's 11 men, we probably leave with something. And it's annoying because every other result went our way in a match that I didn't think would happen. Leicester versus City and Leicester versus Forest and City v Southampton. I expected them to pull up 6 points. They've got a 1 point advantage on us now. And they all drop points. Just because we went down to 10 men, it's so annoying.
We lost because of the first half at the end of the day. That's why we didn't win yesterday. First half performance was terrible. We started so badly. Players basically shit themselves in the first half. There was no real game plan. Like you know at Newcastle they're going to come out, they're going to press relentlessly that first 15, 20 minutes. You've got to ride the wave and try and see it out. And to concede basically at the first attack is so poor. But you actually look at it, right? Eddie Howe got a spot on in the first half. Second half, they were useless. And that whole game, Isak done absolutely nothing and Anthony Gordon done nothing. You know, we limited them to very, very little. But football's fine margins, and we were on the wrong end of the fine margins. We got overwhelmed by them in the first half. We go a man down, and that was the game done, really. As well as we played in the second half, we showed fight, we showed desire. I think I've seen enough from us in that second half to suggest that we can get the 6 points that we need. Ultimately, that first 30 minutes is why we lost.
Let's talk about that first goal. Nina, I mean, how would you describe the way that we conceded? What do you put it down to?
Well, I think Lavia was probably at fault, that one as well. I think moment of falling asleep and then it caught our defence off guard because of that. And again, I think our players trust Lavia a lot on the ball, so it was probably more of a moment of, we weren't prepared for this and we concede. Yeah, no, I agree with what you guys have said, but I also think Newcastle actually let us play better in the second half, in my opinion. That was how. Because, again, there wasn't so much man-for-man marking. They gave us more space to actually, play well. But they trust their defence so much because defensively they are solid. They have a lot of physicality and there's a lot of height that we can't compete with in their box, let's be real. So, again, that was almost a testament to them. So you could actually give Newcastle credit for us playing better in the second half, if that makes sense. Like, yes, again, one clinical finish, maybe Reece James's header or Enzo Fernandez's chance, which was probably the best one of the game. It's a different story, and Lewis is right. We maybe walk away with a point. And I don't think we're all mad here because it's crazy to lose to Newcastle. That's not the point. The point is the manner and the way, because, like Charlie said, we almost cracked under the pressure before it was even applied, because we went there with that, again, weight on our shoulders of it's so important to get something from today that, yes, it's 50-50, but when you play at St. James's Park, it's almost immediately 60-40 because of the atmosphere, because of the grounds. That's one of the toughest away days in the Premier League. So it's not bizarre to lose at that ground, but the way we didn't even give ourselves the chance, and the way that Nicholas Jackson is a player who, he absolutely sulks when he's not playing well, right? And we see it, and he makes rash decisions. This isn't the first time we've seen it, by the way. Like, that shows that he's not there with maturity yet, and it's going to cost us more in the future as well, because he's still got such a journey to improve as a player. And there you go, that's one rash decision because you're upset with yourself and how you're playing in that game, and you cost us a man, you cost us the chance to walk away with a point. So yeah, it's almost like he's become a bit of a weak link, not just because of his conversion rate, because I still think it's poor, but his maturity, it needs to improve, and that's not really a number 9 that you want to trust next season to lead you in the Champions League if we get there as well. So
do you think
again,
he's improved since last season?
Yeah, I think he's improved since last season.
What are we basing that on?
Well,
what's the criteria for
all
improvement?
right, he's not scored more goals, but he missed 2 months of the season through injury.
Fine, but even before his injury,
I thought he started the season very well. His finishing definitely looked like it's got better. I think his link-up play and his all-round play has improved. Obviously, since Christmas, it's been difficult, and he's not been great. But I think another issue with yesterday, and the reason why that red card probably happens, is because why are we going long to Nicholas Jackson, who's not good in the air, against Sven Botman and Dan Burn, and expecting him to win everything every time?
That was my only problem with the manager
every
yesterday.
time we're going long, and that's why I think it was an instruction, because if it's like once every so often, it's really just a Sanchez choice. But this was every single time, so he must have been told by the manager to go long every time. And when you've got Jackson, who's not good in the air, and Botman and Burn are going to eat that up all day. I'm not making any excuses for Jackson, by the way, because there's no excuses for what he did, but you can understand why that's maybe happened, because of the frustration of the ball going up there, him winning absolutely no headers against Botman or Burn, and then it culminates in that. Now, I'm not saying, it definitely doesn't happen if we don't go long all the time, because it might have still happened, but I think that tactic, for whatever reason we decided to do it, is a contributing factor as to why he got sent off. Obviously, he can't be losing his head like that and going for the elbow or whatever, but I just didn't understand why we thought that was ever going to be a good idea. We did exactly the same at Arsenal away, going long to Pedro Neto against Saliba and Gabriel. Why are we doing that? That is never, ever going to work.
It's something that he's either asked for or he's enabling it.
Well,
So
yeah.
that's the one thing I had annoyed in the manager for that game. But even then, I don't think it takes away from Jackson.
No, absolutely
because that
not.
decision was so stupid.
Yeah, it was
Like
stupid.
it's about time where, like, we've seen him show like those rash moments, but it's the first time where I think it's genuinely cost us. There's times where he's just been able to like reel it in at the right time. When he's on 9 yellow cards, he can just hold it off for a month or two. He usually does that. This time, nope. Decided to just throw an elbow randomly, and now it looks like top 5 might be fucked for us as a result.
Yeah,
Which is just fucking annoying.
I don't think he's improved this season. I don't think he's improved.
Yeah, I used to think he did. Now I just think it was a purple patch.
I think
Because like every other aspect of his game, I'm only seeing decline this year. The link-up play is going. The stretching of defenders is going. The goals obviously have dried up. He's got more fucking cards than goal contributions this year.
And his hold-up play isn't even that great recently either.
Everything's just declined.
the thing is,
and
as
that's
well,
on him.
we had this argument at the beginning of the season, right? And well, we disagreed more than we do now. My thing was, okay, you started the season well, but that doesn't mean you've improved because you've barely had any time to work with this manager. The longer you've been with him, the worse you've gotten. And that's the issue that I've had with a number of players. You know, even if you look at some of the things that are good in this team, and again, today's not the day to talk about Maresca. Everybody knows what I think. I think he's a bum. I don't think he's good enough. But I don't think yesterday was 100% on the manager. I don't blame him for that particular game. And I just think that, you know, he's been let down by a lack of quality within this team. It's a mentality problem that stems from the ownership and trickles down. And then people will look for a solution if we don't make Champions League. What is the solution? Somebody's got to go. It's got to be the sporting directors. It's got to be the manager. And I have news for you.
No one's going.
It's not happening. Which means the viable solutions that we're seeing right now aren't even on the table. Just like Osman's probably not on the table. We keep talking about him.
Mate, he was
he
never on the
is the
table.
key to unlocking the potential within this Chelsea team.
we
But
had
he's
him this
not
season,
even
we're
in the
second.
conversation in that boardroom. He's in the conversation in the studio, but they're not contemplating paying. I think it's 12 million net, they said, which is...
It's like 350k
It's
a week.
over 400, mate.
Mate, it's
over
outrageous.
400.
It is outrageous. Like I don't even blame him for not paying that. No one's going to pay him that.
Has
other
he
than
put his price up
No
like,
one's-
since the summer?
no
I don't
one's-
think he was that much before,
Mate,
was he?
no, but Fabrizio was saying that's the reason why actually with him and Chelsea it was never as close as what people were making out because of that salary. But no Premier League clubs want to pay him that
I
salary.
said people are making out. He was the person making it out.
Yeah, well, but it's,
Oh, I hate John
but
Ross.
yeah, but at the end of the day, the only clubs that are going to pay Osimhen that money are Saudi. No, mate, no one else is paying him that money. So he either goes there for his money or he takes a pay cut and he goes and plays in the Premier League, which Mikel constantly says is his dream, or he wants to play for Chelsea. If you want to play for Chelsea, reduce your money, earn your money by performing well for us. Simple as that. You know, there's all this nonsense that he wants to play for Chelsea. Well, go and do it then.
No, he doesn't want to play for
He doesn't
us.
want to play for us.
He don't want to
He'll play for us if he gets paid the money. That's it.
play
Yeah,
for
but I don't-
anyone if they pay the
Yeah.
money.
I don't blame him for that either. It's just they wasted the whole of last summer trying to push for a situation that
biggest
was
problem,
already
yeah.
answered.
They thought he was going to cave at the last minute when like all the moves were off the table.
It's like
but
Tony
he
was
didn't.
there,
Yeah.
fucking Jokeres was there. There was options.
No, another interesting debate that I've seen online, especially when I look back at some of the fan cams and the comments. A lot of people didn't understand why we played Caicedo on the right and had him sort of invert like he did against Liverpool. I never had an issue with
No,
that.
because of course not. Because those same people that were praising it against Everton and Liverpool are now the ones that are praising it because we lost against Newcastle. We didn't lose against Newcastle because Caicedo started at right back. We didn't. So,
Although we have to admit, as soon as he moved into the midfield and James,
Oh yeah, it was
we
much
looked
better.
much
Yeah,
better.
sure, it was
Much
better,
But
but
that
we-
was good game management.
But we didn't lose because Caicedo started at right back. None of us in here, or many Chelsea fans, would say that Reece James should have started that game.
I don't even think anybody wanted changes to the
No,
lineup
exactly.
from Liverpool.
There was no need to change the team.
No, I had no complaints.
So then why are now people after the game saying, "Oh, why is like?" It's just a ridiculous way of thinking, in my opinion. I just don't understand why anyone would say, "Oh, we shouldn't have played Caicedo there."
So what are we thinking about the midfield then for United and Newcastle? What are we thinking going
What do you
into
mean
those?
for Forest?
Forest.
I'd
Still
maybe
not changing nothing.
I probably wouldn't change. Yeah, I mean,
you keep Caicedo
Yeah.
inverted.
I probably would. Yeah, and then
Yeah.
I'd probably bring. Well, I don't know who's going to come
What's
in.
he got to deal with fucking Garnacho? So
Yeah,
it's just-
we've got actually not really doesn't even start for United at the moment.
Actually, yeah, because they'll rotate.
Yeah,
So Europa
yeah,
final
yeah.
6 days after, even better. Have some no name there. Brilliant.
But yeah, no, I don't think.
I dare them don't beat United. I fucking dare them. It's literally going to be a C team.
Lewis, you can agree with me on this. If we don't beat United,
It's over.
Is
he
that-
should
is
be
that-
sacked.
No, he shouldn't be sacked.
He should.
What?
If we can't beat
You've
Man United,
already blamed the manager without even the 90 minutes going on. What is wrong with you?
if we don't beat Man United,
What,
the
and
worst
you think
United team in
you
history.
think it won't be for the same reason we drop points in half our games, which is just our forward line missing 50 chances?
I mean, this is a longer
Let the
conversation.
game play out.
Look, if we
If
so
it's
if
the
we lose the
manager-
Conference League final, you're saying that it's
Let the game play out.
We are doing hypotheticals here.
it's all
It's a
hypothetical, of course
90-minute
it is.
game. Who knows if it's managerial decisions that fuck us or just shit finishing and bozo moments at the back like it's been for 9 games out of 10 this season.
If we do our job, mate, and if we get what we need out of this season, I have no problem. He can stay.
Which is
I'm
what
not-
we've asked for these players for how long, and all they've done is let us down every
He has also
every
let us
turn.
down, without doubt.
Not
He
as
has-
much as these players
he
have,
has
not as
also
much
let
as
us down.
recruitment has.
They've all let us down. We can agree on that.
I know, but to me, there's tiers of blame, and Maresca's third on that.
I'd agree with third tier here.
I've said recruitment, forward line, and then Maresca. That's been the way I've looked at it for months.
Hey man, we'll have to do a pod just on that. To be fair,
End the season, we'll have our answers by then.
do you know what it is? I can't help myself, can I? I'm saying to myself, don't speak about Maresca, Alex. Don't do it. But yeah, no, the Newcastle game wasn't on him. I absolutely agree with that. A funny story as well. I was just telling Nina before you came as well. So when we were walking into the stadium, we saw Egbali going in with his security, quite a lot of security for the Newcastle game.
Faz.
Couldn't get to him anyway, but we saw him. And then we saw him after the game. We bumped into him, walked past him. And I was like, Begdad, you still think we're going to get top 5? Obviously ignored me. And then Stevie, who has the Instagram page, he then asked Iqbal like 3-4 times. He was like, what do you think, Iqbal? What do you think? And eventually he looked around. He was like, we've got 2 more games. 2 more games.
Hey, we got a word out of him.
So yeah, not on camera
Nice.
though, I'm afraid.
Wow,
He
how
speaks.
insightful, guys. We have 2 games left. Did you know that?
I'm just glad to know he speaks.
Yeah, you can actually speak.
Oh,
But
boy.
I don't
Look
know.
at the difference in the way him and Hansel Gwiss handle us. It's crazy.
This is not really that involved though.
Is he not?
Not particularly.
Well,
He's
he's got
part
like
of,
low stakes.
Yeah, he's well low stakes. Yeah,
8%, isn't it?
8%. Yeah.
8%.
Okay,
Still
yeah,
alright.
not too much.
Yeah.
Still 8% job. I'll
Oh yeah,
take
no,
8%,
oh
you
yeah,
know
of
what I mean?
course. But what I mean is like he's not like one of the main faces.
No, he's a sort of silent investor.
Yeah, basically.
But he's involved in the conversation. But Bowley obviously leads that whole consortium. It's Bowley, Jonathan
Mate.
Goldstein, Mark Walter, and then
And
Hansi
Wiss,
Wiss as well.
yeah.
Yeah. So hey, who knows? We'll see. But yeah, so that was a bit of insight into. Well, I don't really think there's much feeling in that answer, but he obviously remains optimistic, or at least wants to try and
Probably
look at it
has
that
to.
way. Well, there's a lot on the line for him for Clear Lake. This is
Any more
obvious-
points dropped and it's over.
Yeah.
Any more?
Well, we'll know on Friday night if it's still on. Simple as that, basically.
The
Yeah.
good thing is that at least like now when we play Forest, they have to come out for the game.
Talk
They
about
can't sit back.
yeah. Let's talk about Madueke as well. We haven't mentioned him once.
He had a poor game.
He got
It's
hooked at
double
half time.
marked.
I mean, he's done well the last couple of games. Everton and Liverpool, he's done well on that left-hand side. Yesterday, he just couldn't get into the game. As Lewis said, he was doubled up on. He was frustrating. Wasn't really taking his man on, losing the ball. And it was the right choice to take him off at half-time. And that change was good, and the subs were good from the manager yesterday. It did make a difference in the second half. But, yeah, Madueke was just one of them days where he just wasn't on it, and it was the right choice to take him off.
The word I hear in the stands a lot is lazy. Do you agree with that
No, I don't think
notion
he's
when we
lazy.
talk about
I don't
Madueke?
think he's lazy at all. No.
He's had his lazy moments.
Yeah.
I don't think it's nearly like last season.
But he works hard. He tracks back. I mean, not obviously doesn't happen every game, but I wouldn't call him lazy. No.
I definitely think he's improved his work rate this season. I
100%
do agree
he
with
has.
that. But he's one of those players. I don't really know how to describe Madueke. I don't feel like I can count on him. But when he's good, he's great, and when he's not good, he's rubbish.
He's been our most productive winger this season in terms of output.
Yeah,
He
he
has.
has. Yeah.
No, he has. So, I mean, look, like a lot of our players, he's hit and miss. And that's basically the big problem, is that so many of these players in this team are hit and miss. And over the course of a season, you can't get away with that. In a cup competition, you can. But over 38 games in a league season, if you've got too many players that are hit and miss, you're going to finish where you deserve to finish. So you can talk about manager, you can talk about anything, but ultimately, the players, if we miss out, it's because they're not good enough.
Do we prefer him on the left or the right?
I don't really mind.
He can play both, can't he? Like when Sancho came on against Liverpool, he switched sides, didn't he? So he can actually accommodate for other wingers, which is a positive.
But where do you think we get more out of Madueke?
We've only seen him on the left a few times.
But
haven't
I
we?
would argue that on the left, you see a different side to him, a sort of less selfish side, but still able to cut in on his right foot and
Just
go
seems
for
more
goal.
comfortable, but
Yeah.
it's still early. Still
It's-
only been like 2 games.
Yeah.
So you can't really get enough from that.
I think it's easier to say on the right because when Cole Palmer was obviously in form at the start of the season, they linked up really well. And obviously Madueke looked a lot better too when that happened. But yeah, I just think with Madueke though, what I like about him is he just still will take more shots than any other player when he doesn't care. Do you know what I mean? And that's actually a good thing because sometimes you just need players to take a risk, have a shot, and he's one that can run at a defender and try his luck. I genuinely think he could have had a lot more goals this season. Some of those goes in, but that's just obviously how football works. But yeah, he does work hard. I think Neto. I thought Neto was quite good.
Yeah,
I
it
thought
was very good yesterday. Yeah.
a very good job at just trying to create a little bit of space, use his pace. But yeah, Newcastle was a difficult game. Honestly, defensively, I think they looked really good. And they definitely did let us have a lot more of the ball and just count on maybe hitting us on the break. But they probably just felt quite comfortable, but they could still see it out 1-0. But I did at least go through those kind of last 70 to 80th minute. I genuinely thought we could equalise. We had the possibility to, but just weren't clinical.
We had some good chances. James had that header.
James could,
Cucurella had a cracking chance.
Yeah,
as
that was a
well,
really good
forced
save from Pope, though, I think, more than anything.
No, they've got a goalkeeper they can count on, unlike us. So, although I say that, I don't think Sanchez made any crazy mistakes
not
either.
really.
It was just the distribution.
Couple of poor.
Is this what it's
bits
come
of
to, guys?
distribution,
Sanchez
but-
didn't make any crazy mistakes.
Well, he
had a
didn't,
good
though.
job.
The bar is so low with him.
It is so low.
It is.
It's the
But
point where the distribution can still be asked, just as long as you're actually saving shots.
Yeah.
Just firm it.
yeah.
Might as well sign Nick
But
Pope, to
I
be
think a
fair.
bigger problem though,
brother.
the away form is so bad, like this year. Like since December, only
One win. in
Yeah,
the
it's only
Prem.
one win on the road, but we've taken 5 points away from home since December. That's one more than Leicester and Southampton. The away form is
That's
awful.
mad.
It's not just big games away from home, which we're struggling in. The big game away record has been awful for years now. Pre-Maresca, even going back to Tuchel, and that away record in big games awful. Away record in general this year in 25 it's been terrible, absolutely shocking. We've got I think we had 1 win and 2 draws away from home in 25. That's so bad.
I think that's also down to the way we try and set up as well, because we try and play this style as if we're going to be the dominant team, and we dominate possession, but we don't necessarily dominate all the games. And this, for me, is something that I would love to see more, like we saw against Liverpool. It's just, why can't we just set up to counter every now and then? I like us.
The teams have to press high to do it.
Yeah.
Sorry, so we're talking about the defensive phase, yeah?
Yeah, Liverpool were pressing high. They had a high line.
But
That's why it
Newcastle,
could have worked
it
against.
was a home game for Newcastle that they would have come at us.
They did come at us.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
but
they
that's the-
scored 3 minutes
Yeah.
in and then dropped back into a 5-4-1 because they had their
Yeah,
lead.
that's-
then we
that's-
went down to 10 men and made it even easier for them.
Yeah, that's
That
the
was the
thing. If
difference.
like Newcastle press real high early on, the thing is, if we'd been able to ride that out, there would have been opportunities there for us to get in behind at some point in that first
They would
half.
have got tired, yeah.
But it obviously it didn't happen. But the away record's a concern. Like, you cannot expect to qualify for the Champions League. You cannot expect to compete for the major trophies if you've got an away record like ours. And this is not just this group of players. This is several groups of players beforehand, different managers, different ways of playing. We cannot win big games away from home,
You
and that is
say
a
that,
massive
but
problem.
we only just improved our record at Stamford Bridge. Only just. Like, Stamford Bridge was a poor record, if you remember.
Under
Like,
Tuchel,
it's
it
been
was
the
awful,
problem,
yeah.
and we only just worked our way up from that. Like, barely. But what I'm saying is that, you know, that thing that we kept talking about, Stamford Bridge used to be a fortress, like, that still has not kind of returned. But you say away form, but we've only just about started winning games at home.
Now, the home form the home form last season was very good. Under Poch, the home form was decent.
Even this season, it's been good.
Yeah,
to be
the
honest.
home
Yeah,
form's not
that's
been
fine.
awful this season
We've
either.
had like 2 losses.
So we lost to Man City, didn't we? And we
Yeah.
lost to
Man City and Fulham.
Fulham. Yeah, those I think those are the only
Obviously,
two.
you want to throw Leggy in there. You can
Yeah,
throw
but I mean,
Leggy
in the league, we've only lost 2 games at home. I
Is
think.
that it?
Yeah. Yeah, we've lost 8 games. I think 8 or 9 games this season. So
we improved it from last season.
Yeah, and it
we
was
just kept it
Yeah,
going.
exactly. It was good under Poch. So the home record's been decent for 2 seasons. The away record, on the other hand, is a major issue. I don't know what we do about solving that, because it's been a problem for years now.
Get some experienced players that can deal with playing under the cosh.
Yeah.
They won't do that, will they? They
No.
won't bring in any experienced players.
No, unless they're free.
Yes.
Well, there is a few
I
freebies out
don't
there.
even mind if they're free.
I think there's some good freebies out there. I mean, just to lay what I would do on the table, I sell Tossin, I replace him with Jonathan Tarr, I bring in Dean Hoyson and Mark Gurhey. That's about 90 million in total, because you get Tarr on a free. You've made a bit of profit from Tossin as well. Let's just say 15 million.
You can get 20 million.
Probably
for
get
Tossin.
20
Yeah, I think
for
you
him,
get 20 for him.
as well. Then I bring in Delap and Jonathan David. And to be honest with you, I'm very happy with that window.
I think
And if
David's going Napoli.
Yeah, I think Napoli.
Is it a done deal?
Well,
close.
they've put a offer together for him. So,
Do you know what the wage is?
no.
Well, I think we can probably match what Napoli offer in wage. I mean, they're not a big spending club in that regard, but it is a free, isn't it? So maybe they'll cough
Sign
out.
on bonus and everything.
But I think the Lap is also a good option. Like, I've spoken with people. People seem to have mixed opinions on him. He would upgrade this Chelsea team. He wouldn't score 30 goals, but listen, if he can score close to 15 with Ipswich, he can do it with Chelsea. And Lord knows we need as many goals as we can get after.
It's just not proven.
Well, he's proven himself this season, now, hasn't
But
he?
one season. That's my same
But
issue.
if you're
with Dean
looking,
Hoyson,
if you're
though,
looking
is-
for players that you can say, right, who can we realistically bring in?
Oh,
Okay.
sure. I haven't got a problem with Delap coming in, but my issue would be if he's the only striker that comes in.
Someone
I
else
agree.
has to come in.
Like with Dean Hoyson, I haven't got an issue with
So
Hoyson
then, who's
coming.
the second one? Because my second one is Jonathan David.
I would agree with you. I wouldn't have an issue of Jonathan David and Delap coming, and those 2 signings would cost you 30 million quid.
And the wage is
That's the thing.
extremely.
We got to sign twice because we want to get in experience. Can we just fucking buy Osimhen and just
Well, I
stop
would
wasting
argue
the
that
time,
you
man?
could probably get more depth anyway, because you have so many injuries, and playing even Europa League, you'll have an extra couple of games in the group phases.
Yeah.
And if you're a serious club, hopefully you'll play some more domestic
But
games.
you need 3 centre forwards in a squad. It's as simple as that.
in a top squad.
In a top squad, you
Yeah,
have 3 centre
definitely.
forwards, because if you go with 2 centre forwards and one gets injured, you're fucked. You need 3 centre forwards.
I mean, Gorkarez isn't going to come to us. Osimhen, we're talking about the wages. So Delap is the next realistic
No, we know
option.
that Delap's going to probably end up coming.
Gyökeres would be an option with UCL.
Yeah.
That's the only option.
Well, then
Yeah.
we have to compete against the
Just
likes of Liverpool and
Osimhen is
Arsenal.
Shit wages.
But I don't know if we match what those other clubs would offer in terms of wage.
To be honest, though, right now, if you've got if you're a player and you've got a choice between Chelsea, Liverpool, and Arsenal, you're probably not choosing Chelsea.
I'd probably choose Liverpool, then
Yeah.
Chelsea, then Arsenal, if I'm honest. Because even with Arsenal, I mean, you're not going to win anything. Well, based on recent years.
Well, yeah. But I mean, what I mean is like weird.
At least we'll grab a
for a
conference
lot
league or
for a lot of top players.
Yeah,
for like
just scam the European
that one
trophies.
in.
for younger players who are coming from lesser clubs, we're obviously still a big attraction. But in terms of going for the top players, if we're in a battle against your Liverpools and potentially your Arsenals, we are going to struggle.
Do you have any striker ideas?
I want Gyökeres. I've said it. He's my number one.
The problem is, right, there's only 2 strikers available that make the difference that we need. and the chances of us
What about
getting.
Sesko? Nobody speaks about that guy.
For
Nobody
a
talks
reason.
about him.
Yeah.
I don't watch much, but I'm looking at his stats. This is a guy who always starts the season off pretty poorly, but by the end of the season, his numbers, like he's scoring most games. Sort of, if we're talking, was it August till December, it's pretty quiet, but then January up until
Oh,
he finishes
Big
strong.
He's a
risk.
Havertz
But
regen.
he's
Get
another-
him away from me.
But he's a,
Get
Well,
him
if he's a
away.
Havertz regen, I'm with you on that.
Look, he's a good player, by the way. Like his ball striking is ridiculous. He's got a great catalogue of finishes, but it's another huge risk.
Bringing him to
He
the
ain't got a
Premier
great
League.
catalogue.
He's got
the shots.
£80 million euro release clause.
Yeah, fuck
67
that.
million.
Fuck that.
But
Fuck that.
hey, Lewis, let me ask you this: what would you rather spend that money on? Because Garnacho, United want about 65.
How about we just don't buy scrubs?
How about no one?
I don't think. I don't
Yeah.
think. I don't
I'm
think.
just
I don't
winding
think
you
we will. I don't think.
I
I
know it's
think
going to be one or the other, innit? It
No,
has to be
no,
a
no,
goal
no.
scoring
We won't do that, please.
winger or some
No,
bullshit.
please not. I mean, Jamie Gittins, if you're going to spend some money, like 30 million, I can.
No.
Jamie Gittins going to cost you
No.
way more than 30 million.
Don't
Well,
want
I heard it's about
Gittins either.
35 million quid, as opposed to Garnacho.
Gittins,
If I had to choose between the
Gittins
two,
screams Garnacho to me. He's inexperienced too and another heavy shot
I was
taker.
about to say, watch the headlines in the next couple of weeks be Chelsea will try and get Garnacho in the head of the Club World Cup, #1 priority.
Garnacho or Gittins just flirting v harassment.
It's just
Same
it's just,
thing.
It's just average, and that's the
but
problem.
that's what we're being linked with. That's the reason I'm saying
Yeah,
these
yeah.
names. It's not because, I think that's what. Obviously, a couple of years ago, we'd be having
I mean,
different
I'd
conversations.
rather just give George the minutes than sign either of them.
Yeah.
Like,
hear it.
like
So, what's your ideal transfer window then? You obviously agree with me
what
in
you mean?
terms of.
What you mean?
I would
Realistic?
buy Victor Osimhen and nobody else, and I'd just be fine. If that was the only transfer we made this season, I'd be fine with it.
Well, we'd
Mamadou
still.
Sarr's coming
yeah.
in, Santos coming in, Esteval fine. I'll
And
work
we'd have
with and
Petrovic as well.
Petrovic.
That's
I'll work
true.
with that.
That's true. That's definitely a Champions
This is
League.
why it's so
squad.
annoying. I just put all the money into that one player and then I'm done. I don't need transfer talk every day. Just go buy Osimhen and just dead the window. We'll get top 2 minimum. That's it. It should just be that simple. If it was that simple last season, we'd already be second. And like no one would be having negative dialogue. The club would be so much more optimistic and positive. These motherfuckers wanted to drag it to deadline day and just call his bluff, and he called ours. Now look at us. We're scrambling for top 5 like idiots. He's probably laughing at us with his fucking Turkish league title.
I'm still getting paid.
Here we are.
Still getting paid as well. Just getting
Yeah,
good
because
money.
our club handled the windows like fucking idiots.
True. Yeah,
This is why they're my bigger problem. If we had just
you're
got
talking about the recruitment, yeah?
Yep, if we
The
had just
recruitment's been
fucking
poor.
got the striker, we would be comfortable. This would be the most relaxed, comfortable season we'd have under Clear Lake by a country mile, and they fucked it.
I also think that is true. But also, even if Lavia had been fit for 3/4 of the season, I think we're at least third or
We're
fourth.
comfy top 4, I hear it.
Yeah, we are. So, but both those things are correct. But
But
again,
hey, a player that played 30 minutes last season and we
and-
decide not to get
yeah,
depth for him.
and this is the exact problem, right? It goes back. A, the recruitment's been poor, but also B, planning on your first team, building it around Fofana, James, and Lavia, who are 3 players who have proven they cannot stay fit. And your plan for the beginning of the season was to have them as like mainstays in the team. And then there was basically no plan B when they were obviously get injured and missed loads of the season. That's ultimately what it comes down to, is that guys can't keep themselves fit. And we didn't sign a striker, and we planned our team around 3 players who barely play any football.
Yeah, when you sorry, Fofana, Lavia, and who's the other one?
James.
Oh,
Yeah.
James, yeah. Oh, 100%, man. I couldn't agree more. I think the worst thing in the world is having an injured player. Even worse than that is having a injured player who you don't even think is loyal to your club, which I think is the case with Fofana. I can't. I would not care less if we sold him. I would not care
I
less.
think Fofana ain't loyal. I just think eventually he's going to go Marseille.
He's not loyal to Chelsea, though, is he? He doesn't really care about the club. He's got, like, when you look at
No, but
James,
where do we even get that sentiment from?
Well, where's that?
we
kind of-
considered going to Marseille last summer.
Mate, yeah,
I
but
think
yeah,
that in
last
itself.
summer?
Yes, it was last
No,
summer.
no, no. He said like he will be in Marseille at some point in his
No,
career.
he was linked with them, and he said,
Yeah, he
"Listen,
was
I'll be
linked
open
with
to
them
going."
based
I
off
just-
those
I
quotes,
just
but
don't-
those quotes were stretched out.
I don't like that, mate.
That's
I don't
not
like
wild
that.
though, Alex. If you think about it, isn't that
Mate,
his hometown? Or
Yeah,
am
it's
I
his
wrong?
hometown.
It
Yeah,
is.
also,
born in
like, I
Marseille.
think it's
Crazy.
massively
You've been
naive.
at the club for
Sure.
you've been injured more at Chelsea than you've actually been able
Yeah,
to play,
sure,
and you're
but
already talking about leaving
think
for
it's
another
massively
football team.
naive.
Not now though.
No, I think it's
Yeah.
massively naive to think that all players are loyal to the clubs they play for. It's just a job for them at the end of the day.
I'm not saying that you have to be. I'm not saying you have to be proper Chelsea, born and bred. But what I am saying is there's got to be a level of professionalism, and we know Fofana forced his way out of Leicester. So who's to say if he gets fed up with Chelsea, he's not going to force his way out again? I just think that
Yeah, but he
that's
forced
not a
his
good
out
way
for
to
an
carry yourself.
upgrade.
Yeah.
Marseille ain't an upgrade.
Yeah,
He's got
it's
no
more
class,
of a
mate.
sentiment.
He's
thing.
got no class, and I'm sorry, he's got no loyalty. I can't respect that.
But you can't deny that.
What
he's
do you mean
been
no
so
loyalty
good
when
for
he's still
us.
at the club? It's not like
No,
he's
but
got...
he spoke about it.
But what's wrong with that? He was asked a question and he answered it.
I don't think it's right. What he should have said is, "I'm happy at Chelsea. I've got no interest going anywhere
He
else."
said he's happy at Chelsea in the same quotes.
That's not what I heard, mate. That's
Yeah,
not what
because
I
they
Maybe I'm wrong.
Because
Maybe
they
I'm
clip
wrong.
it and just give you that with no
Olympic
context.
Marseille, we'll see one day. I still have a contract until 2029. We'll see. Marseille is my city, my club. I'm a Marseille supporter. We'll see if I end up being at Marseille in a few years or if I stay at Chelsea for the rest of my career.
What's wrong with that?
Yeah.
I can't remember reading that at the time, but
Well, there we
listen,
go
if
then.
You
you-
got
Yeah.
the headline.
You got
bro.
the headline,
Not
and,
the
and,
listen,
and that's
if
what
that-
they do. You
but
got
if-
sucked in by the clickbait, and this is the massive problem when people post quotes with no context.
This was another one. I'd be lying if I said I didn't weigh it up. It was from Benatia, Marseille's sporting director. It touched
At
me, and
least he's
everyone
honest.
knows
So
why.
that's what he
Hold
said
on,
then?
hold
Is
on.
that what he said?
Hold on,
He
hold
said,
on.
"I'd be lying."
Wait. It touched me, and everyone knows why. I thought about it, but there you go. The current objective is to succeed at Chelsea, to try
exactly.
play
What's wrong with
regularly,
that?
and establish myself at
So
the
he
club.
weighed up a move. I don't know, man. I
What's
don't
wrong
know.
with that?
Because he was approached.
It was a,
He was
mate, players
approached, he
get a-
weighed it up, but he said
Yeah.
he wants to stay at
Exactly.
Chelsea and
Alex, he
view
was
it in the
approached
future.
by his hometown
What's the big
team.
deal?
I need to read this.
Oh yeah. So try play regularly and establish myself at the club. After that, Marseille will see one day. I still have a contract till 2029. We'll see after that. Never hidden anything. It's my city. It's my club. I'm a Marseille supporter.
Got
So
no
if
problem
it
with
turns
that.
out to be the case, in a few years, I'll be at Marseille. And if it turns out to be the case, I could spend my entire career at Chelsea.
I got no problem with
so
that.
what's
part.
wrong with that then?
I was. You read a quote, another quote as well. That was the one that. I
That,
didn't
yeah,
read.
that was the first one leading into the second one that I read first.
So that was the one that I had an issue with.
I don't think there's an issue with any of it.
I don't have a problem with you speaking about your boyhood club. I don't have a problem with that. That's not the issue for me. The issue is that you said that you were contemplating moving at that time, and I was like, well, you haven't even done anything for Chelsea yet.
He's just being honest. What's the big deal?
I do appreciate the honesty, to be fair. It wasn't a Lukaku thing where he's like, yeah, Martinez, wait, I'll be back soon. That was a piss take.
Yeah, that was
This
bad.
one, it was just more like, yeah, in a few years I could be at Marseille. Could be
Hey,
at
listen,
Chelsea.
fair play. I mean, listen.
But I do think his next move will be back to Marseille, whenever it is.
Well, we'll have to see. I wouldn't be bothered if he left. I really wouldn't be bothered. The guy's always injured.
I think they'll give him. I think we'll give him one more season.
Especially if we're trying to build our team around him.
Now
That
he's
to me is
taking the
just crazy.
surgery.
Yeah.
I want to hope things are different
Yeah,
now.
but I think like, the two things we need to do, right? Don't build the team around him because he's not available enough. But I think next season could well be his last chance, because if he has another season where he's not available for most of it, then it's a problem, and it's probably one season too many.
But the problem, again, is the same thing with Lavia. You
Yeah.
know he's injury prone and you don't bring a replacement.
Yeah, but
As soon as we lose Fofana, we have nobody that can do his role in terms of reading, quick anticipation,
haven't
and
got- yeah.
coming back to recover. No one's got that in their game.
no, they don't. They don't.
What's our predictions for the United game? What's our
Win.
Well,
prediction?
we've got a problem because obviously we know there's no Jackson, but there's also no Sancho because of his loan. So we're now two forwards down. So you probably have to go George, Neto, Madueke, Palmer, I suppose, as a front four.
And then recruitment can hang their heads in shame for having Tyreek George needing to grind out 2 must-win games to secure Champions League football. Like, you actually can't make this up.
Hey, when Tyreek George secures us top 5 and we sell him for 5 million pure profit,
Yeah.
yeah.
Bravo,
wait,
mission
man.
To be honest,
accomplished.
and you say that, right? But I don't even expect him to be here next year.
Oh, God.
Oh,
Wouldn't
this is
blame you.
actually
No, I
bad.
don't expect him to
I
be here.
wouldn't blame
I don't
you.
expect him to be here because we're going to sign a winger and Esteval's coming. So where does George feature? He doesn't.
Vibes.
Yeah, there we go.
Coventry, if they go up.
Yeah, Coventry on loan. Yeah, Coventry
We
on
get a
loan.
loan. Let's help Frank out. Let's help him
Yeah.
out. Although I say that.
Walsh. well.
Reggie Walsh stick him up front for the last 2 games. Must wins. United at home.
Got to finish his
Forest
GCSEs
away.
first, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got revision
brother.
to do.
Oh,
I don't know.
how's it got to this
We
fucking
should
point?
be beating them. We should be beating them, but yeah, the one concern is the
I'm
record
coming back
against
from
them.
Portugal for that one. I
Yeah.
dare these motherfuckers have me cut my holiday short for a 1-1 or something.
Wait, when are you going away?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, tomorrow, and then I'm back on Friday for the
Have
game.
you ever had a Super Bock?
I think so, yeah.
That's just Portugal.
Best
Yeah.
beer ever, mate.
I'll
Honestly,
find out.
I cannot. Is it Super Bock or Super Bocker? No,
think it's
Super
It was
Bock.
meant to be
yeah.
Wednesday till Saturday, but obviously these dickheads at the FA had to move the United game, so back a day early. That's why I'm leaving a day early.
You come into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally just drop my stuff off and go to the bridge. Last home game, innit? Might as
Yeah.
well time
That'd
out.
be great. That'd be good fun.
And plus, like, we can't fucking draw or lose to this United C team that don't even care about the game.
No, they don't care.
There
They're
ain't
gonna-
no way.
Yeah, we can't.
There ain't no way.
Yeah, if you don't have a fight to beat a team that has literally nothing to fight for, then I don't know what you do.
You
That
know
would
what?
be
Yeah, we
very
don't
awkward
deserve
as well,
top
'cause
5.
They've got to do the lap of honour as well, haven't they? After
Huh?
because it's the last home.
Do you remember
game.
17-18 when we drew to Huddersfield last game of the last home game?
What happened then? They didn't.
There was like 5,000 fans left, so they just went to the centre circle, little clap, just back down the tunnel. No one's giving you no lap of appreciation after that. Fuck that.
God, I remember that game. Who scored in that one?
Marcus Alonso.
No, but
and
there was that tall striker from Huddersfield. He had a
what's his name?
French name. or
Watcher or something like that. I forgot
I
his
don't
name.
know.
They brought a great away crowd though. Huddersfield are one of the best away fans
That was
I've
the,
ever
that
seen
was the
at
game
bridge.
that kept them up.
Yeah.
That was the game
It
that
was
kept them up.
fucking nuts.
I've never been to Huddersfield.
Oh,
No.
one of the best home atmospheres in the Prem. Huddersfield, Leeds, Newcastle. No one comes near those three.
Leeds is good.
Leeds was amazing.
Yeah, we were there. Yeah, Leeds
when
was
we
great.
went
Yeah.
there.
I'm so glad they're fuck Leeds every way, but it's a proper rivalry. proper rivalry, proper like actual away atmosphere.
It's one of them where you hate them, but you still want them to be in the league so that you can play against them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like just stay about lower mid table. Fine, I'm happy.
I think for Man United, it's going to be on the players more than anything because I don't think there's more Maresca can do in terms of setup that we haven't seen against
No.
Newcastle and Liverpool. So it's all on the players for that one. Like, how much do you actually want to be in the Champions League next year? How much do you want to play in the big games and compete with the very best teams in Europe? So finish your chances. I think that's the biggest thing. Like, you can't fumble chances, and we've seen that if you're not clinical, you get punished. And I don't want it to be the case. I literally rip my hair out if we're all over Man United, and then we can see the first goal. Do you know what I mean? Like that.
But
I don't
everyone's
think so, Chelsea.
everyone's beating them for fun. Like
Yeah.
it's,
Even West Ham beat them as well.
It's in it to not win is inexcusable.
But then again, we've lost to, we're the only team that Ipswich, and Tottenham.
I was gonna
beat
wait
this
to see who
season.
brought up Ipswich. 'Cause we were walking into that one.
So then again, you say should have, could have, needed to, but hey, Chelsea don't really run with these have tos and things that look black and white. So again, you just never know. Like, yeah, everyone had a crack at Man City this year too. Everyone beat Ipswich this year. Hey, guess what? Chelsea didn't. So. Let's again, like it always seems like a good time to play United. It always seems a good time to play teams for us, but we don't have a good time, it just seems to backfire. But United is an absolutely must win, and at least I know that us fans are going to rock up for this one. Like, I know we will make Stamford Bridge loud on Friday.
I wouldn't
Makes
bank
a
on
change,
it.
doesn't it?
Well, I
Makes
wouldn't
a
bank.
nice
I wouldn't
Makes a
bank
nice
on
So
it.
change.
Liverpool's actually pretty good.
I
to
know,
be
it was a
honest.
good
Yeah,
answer.
it
Yeah,
was
Liverpool
good.
was good. Yeah.
Westview was good against Liverpool, so
Westview
that's
was
telling
good.
you something.
Bloody hell.
Yeah.
You sure there wasn't any Swedish fans there?
Yeah.
So yeah, we got to make Stamford Bridge good on Friday. We at least have that.
Who knows? It
duty,
might
but
start
it's up to the
Mount
players.
to make even better for us.
I
Oh
Has he
my
played against us
God.
yet? Has he played against us yet?
Yeah, the
he-
4-3
yeah, he
came on
did.
and
came
Did
on.
he kick
He
him off?
came on for about 5
He got
minutes.
booed, don't you remember?
Well,
Got booed big time.
Oh, that was a great game. Arguably one of the best games I've ever. Oh, it's unbelievable.
Couldn't imagine.
I've only cried at 2 games. That was one of them.
That was actually an insane
Carabao
game.
Cup loss against City on penalties when Kepa
that was
refused to
so
come off.
shit,
I
that
cried
game,
after
yeah.
that one. I cried when we won 4-3 last season. Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Faz. Surprised those are the two you cried for.
Well,
What about Porto?
You were in Baku, right?
I mean,
Yeah.
I wasn't that. Yeah, but that wasn't like. I was like, of course, we
What
fucking beat Arsenal.
what about Porto?
No. Oh, sorry, not Baku. Porto.
Porto, you were
I
at
was in
Porto.
Porto for that one. Yeah. I didn't cry at Porto though.
No?
Just I was just really happy, but no.
That was
Do
the
you know
only
what it
game
is,
I
mate?
cried
For
at.
me, it's like City when we lost in the cup. You just had that cascade of emotions throughout the game, whereas Porto.
I just wanted to headbutt Kepa. I'm so real.
But Porto was one of those games where we were just in control all the time.
Were we?
So 100%.
It was the first goal wins game.
We
for me.
were in total control. Even when City had the ball, like they couldn't touch us, mate.
That's why when we scored, I was like, "Yep, we've won. We've won."
United was just one of the best comebacks. Like never
I can
seen
only
anything
imagine.
like it. Oh my god.
Yeah, it was mad.
Unbelievable.
That
mate.
crowd must have been fucking nuts.
Oh mate.
And
it was
if Cole
incredible.
Palmer's anything like what he was against Man United last season, then we just might be okay.
Oh, Palmer will be good
Need
against
that.
United. He always gets a goal against them. To be fair,
So
doesn't
we
he?
scored 4 against them last season, didn't he?
Even without Jackson, he'll get chances. It's just
No, we'll
finish.
we'll get chances. That's all it's going to come down to. Can we finish the opportunities we make? As
So-
simple as that.
So, who do we play up top? Are we playing Neto up top? Is
Probably
that-
Neto or George.
Yeah, I think it'll be.
I wouldn't have a problem with George, for you.
I
Neither
think
would I.
I think he'll probably go Neto through the middle. You didn't even bring George off the bench yesterday, so I imagine it'll be Neto through the middle. But George will probably have to. Well, yeah, George is going to have to play anyway because there's no Sancho, so you probably have to go Neto, Madueke, and George.
One thing that a lot of fans don't really like about certain managers and the way they utilise younger players who are sort of breaking into the team. We had this with Sarri, with Loftus-Cheek and Hudson-Odoi, and you're like, well, hang on, they just had 2 good games. Why are you not starting them again? And
Loftus Cheek had his best season under Sarri.
No, but that's what
Yeah.
they forced their way into the team, and it was one of those things until they got. I think they both scored hat tricks in the Europa League. That's when Sarri finally went, all right, then I'll give you your Premier League start. And I feel like, although it's something that frustrates a lot of fans, one thing you can get from that is if you're giving a young player a run out, they'll prove at some point why they're a young player. They'll have a great period, and they'll have a bit of a dip as well.
Yeah.
So if we can get Tyreek George to perform for however many minutes it is off the bench against Forest or United, and we know that we're going to get a fresh, energetic, hopefully clinical George, that for me is okay. So I don't have a massive issue with Maresca not playing him or starting him in these games because we've seen that he can come off the bench and still have an impact. That being said, at the same time, you have to justify why Sancho's starting or whoever else it is. But I don't really have an issue with George being on the bench. But as a striker, I mean, he showed at Fulham that he can score strikers a goal.
Yeah,
and
he
he's
can.
shown in was it Astana? That was when he scored as well up top. Is that the right one?
I don't know.
Was it Kazakhstan? Was it Warsaw?
No, maybe it was Warsaw.
Warsaw. Okay.
Yeah, I think it was Warsaw. Yeah.
Okay, Warsaw. So like he's proved himself to be capable of making those runs, understanding where to be, and obviously being able to put the ball in the back of the net.
A bit more unpredictable as well, a bit more fearless.
Oh, 100%, man. I mean, we just need some bloody. I don't think energy's ever been a massive issue for us. I don't think
It's the finishing. That's not. It's a this season problem. It's a last season problem. It's a year's problem. Look how many games where we've created multiple chances, not taken them, and dropped points. Like that. That's why I find it so hard to put all blame on the manager because look at all the games where we just did not take multiple chances that we created.
Score predictions.
Well, for Man United,
Yeah.
uh,
Cheeky 3-1,
I'll go 2. I'll go 2-0.
2-0, clean sheet.
3-1. I'll
3-1.
go 3-1 too.
Yeah.
I'll back 3-1. That sounds good.
Let us know what you think in the chat as well, guys. I feel like we're all feeling confident, but
Maybe you can't feel confident against Man United. You're
problem
fucked,
is
yeah.
though
Yeah,
that
it's like to have shame. Like they literally don't.
They're
even care
literally,
about
they
the
literally, they could finish 17th. The only reason they're not going down is because the 3 teams that came up are so bad.
yeah.
They haven't
I
even,
was looking at the table.
but they haven't
as
even
well.
got. They haven't even got
that's
40
what,
points.
That's what I was going to say,
They
Lewis.
don't
Do you remember
even
a race to 40
yeah,
points?
They haven't even got 40 points
They managed to outdo how bad we were in 22-23.
by miles as well. Not even close.
No, the same fans saying Chelsea are so small, no one cares. I forgot they lost again yesterday.
Yeah, no one even cares anymore. They lose every week now. It's just like, oh, Man United
Who's
have
it
lost
they
it.
I bumped
this
into
time?
I
West
bumped
Ham,
into a
Potter.
West Ham fan on the train.
Potter?
Yeah.
Oh, that's shit too.
Yeah, they lost 2-0 to West Ham at Old Trafford.
Maybe West Ham have something for us against Forest. Who knows?
Mate, honestly,
They might
I think-
do, you know,
I
they
think
might
could,
do.
Defo.
Particularly of how shit Forest are playing at the moment.
Is their last home game of the
Yeah.
season? Maybe.
I
never know.
bumped into a West Ham fan on the train, and he was like, "Yeah, you know, it's all right." And I was like, "You're not pumped?" He was like, "Come on, mate."
It's fair.
As long as we finish above Tottenham,
I mean,
I'm
it's,
happy.
it's hard to celebrate beating a shit Man United team.
Still good though, isn't it?
Yeah, obviously, it's a win's a win, but yeah, it's hard to be like, oh my god.
I'll tell you, I'll make a claim with Potter. I think that if they give him a bit of time, he will be fine. I think he'll do
West
well
Ham?
for them.
Yeah.
Definitely. You know, like when people complain about him, I speak to West Ham fans all the time, and like a lot of them already hate the guy. And I'm like, look at what you had with Moyes. Look at what you had with Lopetegui. Polar opposites and what they were trying to do. I feel like Potter kind of meets in the middle. And he's sort of a bit like Maresca, is conservative, but tries to play sort of progressive football as well. And I think that that's the way that West Ham, you know, if you want to play attacking football, you've also got to be realistic and
They've
understand
got a
that.
personnel either, so.
Not yet,
Yeah.
but if they go out and make some smart signings, I don't know if they've got a new sporting director
Oh,
or
fuck
anything
knows.
like that. They just need to change the profiles that they've got in. And they can definitely generate some sales. They'll probably end up selling Kudos this season.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kudos release clause kicks in. Paquetá's probably getting sold.
How much is the release clause?
Well,
Like
Kudos is
85
expensive.
mil.
It's expensive, Kudos, yeah.
I don't know if I'd pay 85 for that.
No, absolutely not.
Unless
And
he's going
been
to be on
checked out all season.
He hasn't had a good season at all, Kudos.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, so I think West Ham could definitely get something against Forest, although that is at
West Ham, yeah.
Okay. We'll see.
It's possible. It can't be ruled out.
So, but we said it the other day when Joey walked in. I think that Forest will be the reason that Chelsea, if we are to qualify, it won't be because we're great. It will be because they've bottled it. That's the way I
Can
look
you
at it.
imagine if someone had told you that at the start of the season, that would be the scenario? That it'd be Nottingham Forest.
I mean, we'll take what we can get.
Yeah, I'd take it anyway. Take Champions League any way possible. Yeah.
That's mad.
If it comes to that, it comes to that. So be
If we
it.
can just take top 5, I just want to forget the
We
season.
took top
happened.
But
5 and we go to the
real.
Club World Cup and that's it. We're done.
But the last game of the season against Forest, do you think we go into that game? Obviously, we're a big.
We're going to that game having to win, basically.
But do you think we are the favourites to win? Because I would argue that it's probably the opposite way around. Forest at home,
I don't think
great
they'll be
atmosphere.
either
Mate,
favourite.
Forest's home form has been dreadful.
If you had to bet on one team to win that game, who would you bet on?
Honestly, probably still be us.
I'd bet on a draw.
Just because of Forest's form,
Yeah.
and because they haven't been here before in terms of even competing for
Mm.
Europe.
And you can tell that
run
they've
out
not
of
been here
steam.
because they've just run out of steam basically.
Yep.
But look, at the end of the day, Forest are
I'm
guaranteed.
more
Europe
concerned about
anyway.
how we score
Yeah.
Yeah.
than about like conceding.
And that's the big thing. Like, where are the goals in this team? That's the
We're
main
going to
issue.
need multiple. I think if we're going to beat Forest, it's
We
going to
need-
be
we need
another
two.
3-2
We need at
jobby,
least 2
something like
goals.
that.
Yeah.
Because they will create chances out of nothing. And their system is brilliant for playing against a system
That's
like
what
ours.
I was gonna say. Like
They-
our faults are gonna
Mate,
be
they
their
have
strengths.
they have so little of the ball, Forest. So
But
little
they
of the
do
ball.
so
Yeah.
much when they have
So
it.
good on the counter. That's how they score their goals.
I mean, they've dropped off in like massively in recent weeks, but yeah, they have had big success.
Did you
with that.
watch the City game? The cup semi-final?
Yes.
They could have won
Yes.
that. They could have
They
won
hit the
that.
post 4 times.
Yeah.
And
They had so many
and
chances.
I just, do you know what? When I look at teams, and this is one of the things that frustrates me about the way we play. I'm not saying I want Nuno to be our manager, but I just like when you're a little bit more direct. For me, that's a personal
But
preference.
that's not sustainable. That style of football.
I'm not saying that you have to play potch ball. I'm not saying you have to play Nuno Espirito Santo ball. I'm just saying a little bit more direct than what we're doing at the moment. And when you see what some of those players are able to do in a split second from being under so much pressure, I mean, in a Chelsea sense, we'd probably have 75% possession. And,
But that's the
and that wouldn't
difference when you have
surprise us.
someone you can cross the ball to.
Yeah,
Oh,
they
definitely.
Got Chris
We
Wood.
don't.
They got Chris Wood with 20,
Maresca said
20
a
league
few
goals.
weeks ago,
Yeah.
we don't really have the squad to play transitional football because like
There's
we
no one
don't
in the
have the
box.
variations.
Mate, even yesterday, how many times we getting in wide areas? You look into the box, there's no one in there.
Jackson ain't even running, he ain't even jumping.
One thing is Enzo's actually improved a lot in terms of that sense, getting
Because
into the box.
Enzo's had
yeah.
to do fucking Jackson's awareness in the box for him.
But what's mad is Cucurella is one of our best players in the box.
Because even he's
Yeah.
got better awareness and anticipation.
You could stick him up top. for the next 2 games.
Yep.
That's been worse. There's been much worse.
This is
done
where we
before.
are. Because we didn't recruit well enough, and that's what the biggest problem's been this season.
Yeah, no, it's true. Simple as that.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to Forest. I am. That is going to be such a great
It's
atmosphere.
going to be a Champions League shootout.
Do you know what we were having this conversation?
Well,
the
for
other
us,
day.
not for them.
What was it? Liverpool versus Chelsea, and if that was the game to qualify for Champions
Yeah, we just had
League,
to not lose that game.
if we
yeah.
hadn't have qualified, Abramovich wouldn't have bought us.
Probably not,
It's
no.
that one, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's got that
Mate, I
level
think-
of
mate,
weight to it,
no,
but
mate, I think it's been.
This
It must
is a big
be.
one,
It's
mate.
been a long, long time. Probably since then, where we go into the last game with actually something. We're actually playing for something.
yeah.
Yeah.
It is really fucking important, though. If we don't get top 5,
It is,
the summer
it's
is
a
going
big
to be
problem.
even bleaker than
It's
it
gonna
looks
be,
now.
It's going to be tough this summer, yeah. If we don't get the top 5, it will be difficult.
I think the other problem is not just who you bring in; it's who you can retain. And even though you have people on long contracts, who's to say that people don't want to, force their way?
And
out of the
there'll
club if
be
they're not happy?
there'll be certain clauses in those contracts as well. By the way, maybe not active this
Yes.
summer, but definitely no one is signing that length of contract with no get out
Of
clause
course
at all.
not.
You're not. There will be get out
apparently
clauses
Palmer doesn't have one.
for this summer. They said.
But apart from Cole Palmer, I can't imagine
think
which
it
player
triggers in a
currently
few
wants
years?
out. Do you know what I mean?
You don't sign a contract to
Apart from Cole
2033 with no
Palmer,
get
I
out,
don't
do
see
you?
which player
You never
wants
know.
out.
He might have
The
done, but I would,
naivety of young players and all
but
that.
I would have thought there'd be a clause
I
somewhere.
hear it, though.
Yeah.
Like, I could understand if something popped up.
I think we've got, if we miss out on the top 5, I think we've got one more season of players sticking about. And if we were to miss out again next season, then that's when I think players will start going.
We'll see what happens,
Yeah.
guys. Well,
That's a
listen.
big if, though.
Let us know what you think. If you agree or disagree with anything that we've said, guys. Subscribe to everyone's channels as well. They will be in the descriptions. Subscribe to Chelsea Fan TV if you haven't already. And we will see you all before the United game. All the best, guys. And we will catch up very, very soon.